line up in 19th place. He's got a lot of work to do from there. Local man Marco Wittmann has Ricardo Feller alongside him. Row 8, Nicola Bart and Bastian Boost. Bastian was not happy with the straight line pace yesterday. Marco Mepelli in 14th has Timo Glock for company. Then championship leader Mauro Engel and a former champion Thomas Preining. Matteo Cairoli and Tom Callender line up on row 5. On row 4, Thierry Vermeulen has another former champion Mirko Bortolotti. Jules Gounon and Lucas Auer looking to pick up those points. Then it's Bender and Argemini on row 2. The front row, Mustang versus Aston Martin. Finn Wiebelhaus versus Mr. Norisring, Nicky Tim. With the sound of DTM, and we are racing. Nicky Tim off that pole position. Finn Wiebelhaus drops back a little, but is he going to try something? Into turn 1. He's back there. We're running several cars abreast in the background. Is everybody going to make it around here? 4 abreast into turn 1. They'll need to sort it out. Cairoli makes slight contact with the wall. Also, Nicola Bart. Doesn't look like there are any issues, but there is rain on the camera lens.
In the grid formation until the lights are going green. So I think that's going to be a penalty for him. And
he got a little bit of a got up close to personal potential with Mauro Engel, but yeah, I fear for Matteo Cairoli that there may well be a penalty incoming here. He also, as we mentioned, got very close to the wall. Has broken clear. I did wonder whether Matteo Cairoli might be under investigation. We saw him breaking formation a little before those lights went on. Now, Morris, you've spotted something.
Yeah, so we're under safety car at the moment, so let's see what happened, if there was some debris on the track or not, as we didn't see a big incident. And also Matteo Cairoli under investigation for a false start. We saw him pulling out of the gantry just a bit before, as we see some debris from him as well.
Looks a little bit like there's rain at one end of the circuit and not so much at the other. We're looking at turn 1 as Mauro Engel goes very deep into the corner there. He manages to regain it, but he's down in 12th place. You saw Bastian Boost just ahead of him in 11th place.
Tiptoe their way around. It's only 3 minutes to go, but at the moment it's really, really heavy rain and they just need to survive, keep it on the black stuff and keep it out of the wall.
So, looking down from turn 1, there's Jules Gounon on the outside there as well. So Gounon working hard in that 6th place, but Mirko Bortolotti, again, maybe the wet weather, a bit of a leveler here. It's a bit of damage to the front of Mauro Engel's car there on one side, as well as Timo Glock tries to muscle his way past, does that. So Timo Glock up to 12th place. So turn 4 here at the Norisring is a bit of a traffic jam. It's a brave person who steps out in these conditions to try and make that challenge. You can see visibility starting to disappear as well. Maybe when the pit window opens, it's going to get busy. So that's Jules Gounon on team radio, checking in with the team as well. And they will be thinking long and hard about what to do. Of course, the problem is there's Tom Callender going deep into turn 1 as well. You can come in, change to wet weather tyres, and then the rain stops and suddenly you're on the wrong tyre. But they say it's about being on the right tyre at the right time. Well, there you go, there's science. So you get the feeling when the pit window opens, it might get quite busy. And look how tricky it is around the corner here, looking down from up above. Tom Callender once again discovering where the traction is. There's none there. Luca Exler and Matteo Cairoli pointing in the wrong direction. Damage for Matteo Cairoli. That is surely going to be an end of the race for him.
Yeah, it looks like one of the App Lamborghinis actually lost it under braking and clattered into the other two.
So it may well be, yes it is, safety car is out, and that is why the pit window has been postponed. So the pit window will be closed. Matteo Cairoli is furious. He unplugs himself from the car and walks away. It's going to be 0 points for him today. So with the pit window postponed, the good bit is the cars are running slower, so one would like to think there's less risk running on slick tyres, but it's still going to be tricky, even at these kind of speeds. It's going to be tricky just to keep it all together, isn't it?
Yeah, the tricky thing for the drivers is now, as we go to red flag even.
Red flag.
Because as I wanted to say, it was getting to the stage where they're going to lose all the tire temperature that they still have, although it was a little bit. Now with the safety car, that leads to a drop, and I think that's actually the reason that we're going to red flag, that or a damage barrier. But the hit was not that big, to be honest.
The safety car will be in on this lap, so we're just heading out to the Scholar S turn 3 at the moment, heading towards turn 4. Lights off on the safety car, so that will peel off into the pit lane. Now Nicky Tim needs to regather himself. We heard from him on the grid before the race started. He said, look, I'm just focused on what's ahead, and he will be laser focused at the moment. The young upstart, Finn Wiebelhaus, just showing himself at the side. He would fancy trying to do a little run on Nicky Tim with all that extra weight on board. The success ballast from yesterday. Arjun Maini sees his teammate up ahead, will want to get past him, but importantly, he doesn't make contact with him. But keep an eye on Lucas Auer in 4th place. Lugi has the points championship in his mind as well. We'll want some valuable points. We'll want to move forwards as we go back to green flag racing. But Finn Wiebelhaus looking fairly racy in the background. That's Ben Durr, Jules Gounon. Gounon on the inside. So Jules Gounon going to move up into 5th place. Ben Durr in the McLaren trying to come back around the outside, but it looks like Jules Gounon has got the job done into turn 1. Everybody just taking it nice and carefully. Sometimes when the rain comes down, it actually causes drivers to be quite sensible with their driving. You get less kind of dramas than you might do in the dry. Famous last words, I know. The new pit stop window will be 14:13 local time. There's now a challenge for 3rd place. Lucas Auer alongside Arjamaini heading out towards the Dutzendijk turn. Finn Wiebelhaus there as well. Arjamaini goes deep into the corner. He's going to lose that 3rd place, isn't he? Lucas Auer muscles his way through. Now Arjamaini trying to come back on the outside as they head past the pits at well over 250 kilometers an hour towards the end.
So it's a bit of a frustrating situation to be in. You want to attack, but at the same hand you also have to look to the back, as Bastian Buus is definitely trying to make moves forward as he goes into the inside of Tom Callender, and Tommy Preining has to take avoiding action. So.
But he's got to make the decisions first. Still the fighting goes on. This is Mirko Bortolotti and Ben Durr, so they are scrapping over 6th place at the moment. Mirko Bortolotti, this is for the lead. Finn Wiebelhaus on the outside. It looked like he was going to make a challenge. He may have had a nose in front. Very, very briefly. Nicky Tim saw that off.
As soon as he hits the wet part of the track, he just goes straight and has understeer.
Yeah.
And that's what I mentioned earlier as well. If you go for a slick now, you might be faster, but you're going to get this picture, basically, that overtaking is going to be incredibly hard.
In the remaining Ferrari in this race. Look at, and that was more than a little bit of a glance off the wall for Arjamaini. The traction, as we've mentioned many times before, and that's Finn Wiebelhaus as well. Also with the back end stepping out. I think the tarmac, Timo Glock in trouble again. The number 16 car, that is crabbing like mad. So, as well, let's have a look here. Let's see what might have happened. Yes, he has. And you get the feeling there's a lot more grip on that tarmac than there is on the concrete.
Big save also by Finn Wiebelhaus, who nearly spun there. And you see Nicky Tim also took a distance of 2.3 seconds now. And unfortunately, Timo Glock got caught out by the same wall.
Here, as Nicky Tim, that 40 kilometer an hour speed limit as well is gonna feel very painful. So they set to work on the cars. You can see in the background there's Lucas Auer, Jules Gounon. Here comes Thomas Preining as well. Now that was a good stop. You can see that 6.8 seconds from Come To You. So pretty good stop. Not as good as yesterday. That's that long straight now. He ducks to the outside, maybe generating a bit of heat as well. Right now to the outside into turn 1, under braking. Nicky Tim looks to have it under control at the moment. His Wiebelhaus going to try and switch back to the inside. He can't do that on the exit. Bit of debris flying up in the air. I don't think that came off one of the cars. I think it was on the track already.
But Finn looks to be very, very strong at the moment, and he's again knocking on the door of Nicky, who just has to defend the inside corner. They're very close side by side together, but it looks like Nicky Tim has it covered again. He just has to be mindful of the switcheroo, but he has it covered at the moment.
Yeah, he does at the moment. Look at him taking that different line out of turn 1 as they head towards the Scholar S. Now, Lucas Auer is a long way back at the moment, and Finn Wiebelhaus will have it in his head that he needs to get this done before Lucas Auer can close in on them, or if there's a safety car or anything like that. At the moment, he has the luxury of all that space. It is about 4.8 seconds back to Lucas Auer. So this is his big opportunity, isn't it, to try and make a move without actually losing anything. Of course, that assumes he can keep it on the track, which is really tricky with those slippery conditions. You can see off the racing line the wet patches. So Finn Wiebelhaus with a sense of urgency about him. Now attacking Nicky Tim in towards turn one once again. He keeps trying that outside line, hoping maybe that Nicky Tim will go deep and he can switch back to the inside. But Nicky Tim is not one for doing that, is he? He's got it covered off at the moment. That debris still on the track there. Race 8 of a 16-race season, and it's all to play for. Nicky Tim looking to jump Maro Engel and get to the top of the championship standings. Engel doing a solid job. He's up to 7th place at the moment. And Matteo Cairoli, this might be a clue as to why a fair bit of damage, even just brushing the wall.
So you see that the car is not pointing dead straight anymore, and that's going to be game over for him, which is a shame.
And then just 2 points behind him, it would be Lugi in the number 22 car. But there is this 6-minute pit window, which everybody's going to have to use coming up very, very shortly. Ben Durr on board with him.
Yeah, that's incredible, and that's something we don't see very often. I think the last time was Tommy Preining doing it in 2023 at Hockenheimring.
The only time, in fact.
The only time, so he will join a cool list then. Yeah, but that's really cool, and it shows how you can get back into the games and them hitting each other. So also a good job by them and good coordination. Schuken also has a fast pit stop of 6.6.
Arjumani as well, so he's there's another look at the stop from HRT, and problems on that left front. It looked like a little bit there, so he's able to rejoin. Right, here comes Lucas out from 3rd place. So once again, the team's on standby. Landgraf getting ready to receive the shoebox, keeping to the 40km/h speed limit. He hits the marks. The air lance goes in. The car rises up into the air. Rear tyres are done first. Now the fronts are done. A little bit slower on the left front, but all good. And Lugi is away into the fast lane. That looked like a pretty good stop, or 8.3. I think they may be disappointed with that.
Yeah, I think the front left was a little bit slow, as Finn Wiebelhaus is now pulling into the pits. So now it's up for Nicky Team to respond. Interestingly, they're always waiting quite long, as Sebastian Buus is now overtaking Tommy Preining, and I'm sure that's not the end of the story, because Tommy is right up to the rear bumper going into turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes Finn Wiebelhaus then into the pits from 2nd place. So Nicky Tim and Come To You Racing leaving it late once again. Also the case for Red Bull Team Apt with Luca Exler. So the car rises up on the air jacks. The slick tyres go on the back first, and all that brake dust rising up into the air. Oh, and it's slow. It's slow on the left front once again. 9.7. That could be a fairly final thing, because Come To You Racing now responding as Nicky Tim comes into the pits, but that could be a race-deciding moment there, couldn't it?
Yeah, and now also the Come To You mechanics know that the pressure is a little bit off, since they lost a bit over 3 seconds in the box, the mechanics of the HRT crew. So if they just deliver a solid stop, it should be okay. As Nicky Team is pulling into his gantry.
So everyone has or is stopping. So Nicky Tim being given the call from Come To You Racing. This team that has come on in leaps and bounds since they joined the DTM last year. Their pit stops were epic. Yesterday was epic. You win as a team, you lose as a team. Well, Finn Wiebelhaus leading the way at the moment in the driver of the day. Come on, you can vote. Scan the QR code. Sponsored by PME Legend. At the moment, Finn Wiebelhaus with 37% of the vote, Nicky Tim with 34% of the vote, and Marco Wittmann with 9% of the vote. Quite a few of those will be Fiat people as well, I should think. So yes, get involved in your vote for the driver of the day. Look at Thomas Preining and Marco Wittmann. You can just see from the body language of the car that this is a fairly full-on fight for 9th place. We're on board with Marco Wittmann now. He sees the Grello car, the legendary livery, up ahead of him into the Dutzendijk turn. But at the moment, Thomas Preining has the advantage of the BMW. Both of those cars, the Porsche and the BMW, really have struggled a bit for pace this weekend. Out along the pit straight they come once again. Is Marco Wittmann going to make a move into turn 1? Up ahead is Bastian Buus. Well, we saw that Preining had been battling with Bastian Buus. He's now fallen back into the clutches of Marco Wittmann. So I wonder whether the BMW is going to make a move for that position.
Yeah, he looks to be strong, although the BMW is known to be struggling a bit under brakes, which is actually the strong point of the Porsche.
And one day we'll be racing GTs themselves. They're looking at their heroes, the Gladiators, 2 former champions, fighting for position. Thomas Preining in 9th, Marco Wittmann, another champion behind them. So all 3 former champions running together on the track here. Thomas Preining, a 3 times winner here. Doesn't look like he's going to add to that this weekend. Marco Wittmann, a 1-time winner around here as well. Wittmann putting the pressure on to Thomas Preining. Less than 7 minutes remaining. At the moment, Nicky Tim under control. Finn Wiebelhaus has taken some time out of his lead. He's down to 2.8 seconds, but there's fighting all the way down and up through the pack. You see Bastian Boos has made great progress. 7 places up into that 8th place. And considering where he started off at the weekend, where he was struggling right at the back, I'd say that's progress for Bastian.
Yeah, definitely. Being also in front, you know, being in the top 10.
And now, out of Dutzendijk, out of turn 5, he comes. It's maximum points for Nicky Tim. 2 wins out of 2 here at the Norisring. And you can hear emotion in his voice. Nicola Luzana from CEO 71 Media, who is the CEO of 71 Media, presents the 3rd place trophy to Lugi. He kept the pressure on all the way. The ADAC Vice President, Dr. Hilmar Zubert, presenting that to Finn Wiebelhaus. Twice. And he's got another of those big trophies. Dr. Markus Söder, Minister President of Bavaria, will present that trophy. I hope he's got more than hand luggage when he's flying home. And never mind about the photos. Lugi wants to start the champagne fight early. Jump start to that man. Nicky Tim can barely believe it. Care to guess who's going to win the championship this year? Not a clue. There are the remaining cars just scrolling through your screen. We had some non-finishers, 3 in the shape of Marco Mappelli, Timo Glock, and Matteo Cairoli.